What is up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another Monster Hunter Wilds video. Today, guys, we're going to be going over 3 of my current favorite builds for the hammer in Monster Hunter Wilds. Now, guys, these builds are extremely changeable and versatile, so feel free to alter them however you deem fit. However, to me, these are what I have found to be the best builds so far for my playstyle, anyway, that is. Now, my favorite one at the moment is utilizing the weapon, the Jailbreaker. Now, this is the Lalabarina weapon that you will be able to get, the binder mace you can see there. So this is a fully upgraded one with a bunch of jewels slotted into it. And you can see from our current active skills that we have pretty much slotted this out to be a massive stun machine. So essentially in combat with the monster, your main goal here is to focus as much as possible on the head. That'll allow you to build up the Slugger and the Stamina Thief skills, which will allow you to actually stun the creature. And then you can also stack up your Paralysis attack, resulting in even more stuns, which in turn means more DPS. Now, we do have some extra skills that are slotted in here, such as Critical Boost, Weakness, Exploit, and Agitator. Now, these are just extra skills to raise our Infinity, increasing the amount of damage that we do, and Agitator as well. Majority of the time, most of the monsters will spend aggroed and raged, so you can easily get a solid amount of extra stats from having the Agitator slotted in somewhere. So you can see here we've got level 5 Agitator, which gives us an extra 20 attack and an extra 15% affinity while active, which is really big. So, as well as that, our actual Paralysis attack has a 20% extra build-up, plus an extra 50 bonus. And that stacked with the Slugger means we have even more stun power, and we are already using the hammer, which does have a great amount of stun power already slotted into it. And then we also have Stamina Thief on it as well, which exhausts monsters, meaning they'll need to head off, recover quicker, and they will not do as powerful attacks when they are exhausted. I did also just slot a Critical Boost here into the weapon, just because I didn't really have any other one cost slotters. I could have chucked in an extra attack jewel, but I felt like the Critical Boost was going to allow us to do probably the most amount of damage for the single slot. So it does increase our damage dealt by critical hits to 28%. So during that Agitator period, we do get higher Infinity, which results in us getting more stacks of the Affinity. Now, the current set that we are utilizing in terms of armor is the Gore Helm and the Gore Greaves. Now, this does give us Evade Window and Coalescence, as well as Antivirus and Flinch Free. Now, the reason we are running the Gore Greaves and the Gore Helm is because we want to get the Gore Magala's Tyranny. Now, this infects you with Frenzy when against large monsters. So the moment you come into battle with the large monsters, you'll notice above your health bar the Frenzy icon up the top there. Now, constantly attacking the monster, which you should easily be able to do once you get your first stun or paralysis off, will result in you becoming cured, essentially, of that frenzy, which is what we have Antivirus 3 for. So you can see Antivirus 3, once infected, makes it easier to overcome the frenzy and increases affinity if cured. So once we cure ourselves of that frenzy, we automatically get a 15% affinity bonus, which is massive. So that stacked with our Agitator, we're already looking at an extra 30% affinity plus an extra 20 attack, which is already massive. Now, we also have a couple of sets of the Arc Vulcan mail. So you can see here, this does give us Weakness Exploit, which increases the affinity of attacks that exploit a monster's weak points and wounds. With the hammer, you should be focusing majority of the time on the head of the monster. So this will give you an extra 30% increased affinity. And then with the actual attack on the wounds, you're looking at an extra 20%. Just from that, with Agitator and the Virus skills, you're looking at 100% affinity on your attacks when you're hitting weak points with the wounds, which is massive amounts of damage. Now, we are also running the Challenger Charm here as well, just for the extra 2 agitator. I didn't really have a jewel that I could slot in to anywhere else that would fit the agitator jewel, so we just made the charm for it and upgraded it once, and we've got that. So all in all, we've got a very solid build here. Now, a couple of extra sort of quality of life things that we have here are recovery speed level 3. So this allows us to actually increase the red portion of our health bar 3 times faster, which is very effective at pretty much recovering our health. If you ever get hit or anything like that, we're able to go ahead and just protect ourselves from that. So it's a really good thing to have. Now, we also have Coalescence slotted into this armor as well, which temporarily increases our elemental attack power and status effects after recovering from blights or abnormal status. Guess what applies the blights? The Frenzy. So once we actually recover from that, we do get an increase to status build up, once again allowing us to stack up even more paralysis on the monster. Now, this next hammer build is more of a critical sort of hammer build. It utilizes the Ardian hammer, however, we do have it made with a blast element. So this just allows us to deal extra damage with our attacks over time, stacking up the blast, blight, and then obviously exploding it. Now, you can decide on how you want to level up your Artian weapon. We don't even have it fully upgraded yet. It's only got a reinforcement bonus of a sharpness boost and an attack boost. The sharpness boost, however, has made it go to white sharpness. Without that sharpness boost, it would be sitting on blue sharpness. So I'm actually really happy with that sharpness boost. I'd like to try and get an extra 5 attack infusions, extra 5 attack boosts onto the hammer itself to actually increase more damage. But at the time being, I'm pretty happy with how this is looking. Now, we do have some critical boost slotted into the hammer. So we've got that slotted into 2 of the jewel slots. Now, we didn't have a critical jewel level 3, so I had to settle for the level 2. Otherwise, we would have critical boost level 5. And then I've also got a charge up / KO jewel in here, which actually allows us to increase our stun hit when we use our charged attack with our hammer, which you'll generally be using a lot of the time for, especially when you go to use the mighty charge. You're going to be using that trying to hit the head, which allows you to stun the monsters easier. And then obviously Slugger does increase the stun power by 20%. Even having one of the Slugger jewels slotted into your armor or your weapons is always a bonus when you're using a hammer, because it does give you that extra stun power. Now, other than that, everything else is pretty much the same. We do have level 5 weakness exploit. Like I said, this is a crit build, so we are going to be trying to stack up the critical hits here and there. So we've got level 5 weakness exploit and a level 5 agitator. Still running the antivirus and the coalescence. We are only running 1 coalescence on this build because we have swapped it out for a counter strike. So counter strike increases your attack if you get hit by an attack that knocks you down. So it gives you a small boost of attack damage just for a brief window. So very decent to run. You can swap this out if you would like to for a elemental other hammer. So something like the Jin Haddad's hammer is actually really good as well, because it does have a huge amount of elemental damage, and you can swap out the crit boost for the ice attack or even other jewels that you would like. These builds are highly interchangeable depending on the hammer that you are running or that you want to run. I'm just really a big fan of the Blast Artian hammer, just because it's very fitting with the rocket that it sort of does when you do the charge attack. So I wanted to make a crit build that focused around that. Now, finally, we have my last build, which is just pure damage. So we have the Shrouded Agaturi, which is the Chupacabra hammer, and this is fully upgraded, so it does have Stamina Thief and Charge Up with it. It does have a Royal Base attack damage of 230 and a defense boost of 15. Now, you could also potentially swap out for the Graviton hammer, the Gravios weapon. It does have slightly more attack as well as blast element and an extra defense bonus of 15. However, I just wasn't the biggest fan of the negative affinity that it has with it, so I'd rather just have the base 0 affinity and run that. But this is definitely a viable option as well if you feel like running the Graviton hammer as well. So as for skills on this set, we do have attack boost level 5, we've got the Stamina Thief level 3, Slugger level 1, Charge Up level 1, as well as Weakness, Exploit and Agitator, Antivirus, Counter-Strike, Coalescence, the standard stuff that has been on the rest of the build. This just allows us to stack our attack to deal even more damage. So at level 5 you get plus 4% as well as a bonus plus 9 from a level 5 attack. So that's the reason why we decided to run with that. And then a weakness exploit, you get bonus affinity when you attack a monster's weak points and wounds. So at level 5 you'd go ahead and get an extra 30% increased affinity with an extra 20% on wounds. So already just from that you are getting an extra 50% affinity, which results in big damage from this hammer purely because of the high raw damage that it does. But guys, that is pretty much all my hammer builds at the moment. Let me know what you guys think about them. Let me know if you've got any suggestions, any armor pieces you would swap around. I'm very open to hearing your guys' discussions on these. But other than that, guys, thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you in the next one.